Hey, welcome back to Mr. News Art Class. It's wonderful to see your smiling faces today. Today is day 8 of Inktober, and since we've finished a week, I wanted to go back and recap what we've done so far, and also answer some questions about some things that other people have been asking a lot. So for day 1, prompt Swift, I made a lightning bolt. Day 2, divided. I tried to split apart a symbol of unity, the yin-yang. Day 3, I made a poisoned apple for poison. Day 4, I made, for underwater, I made a seahorse with wavy, watery patterns in the background. Day 5, for long, I made a long and winding road. Day 6 for sword, lightsaber. Day 7 was shy. This was yesterday. Woman covering her face, hiding her face behind a hand. And today, day 8, I'm going to be drawing the Leaning Tower of Pisa for the prompt crooked. I did want to go through some questions that people have been asking, and just kind of talk about some Inktober stuff. First of all, I've had a lot of people saying, hey, what do I do if I'm running out of ideas, if I don't know what to do anymore? And this is where I think the prompt list comes in super handy. When you're doing Inktober, you've got a day-to-day prompt list. So if you don't know what to draw, just look at the word for the day. Today the word is crooked. And just put that into a Google image search and see what comes up. That'll get you a lot of ideas. Also, if you've got a specific style that you do all the time, maybe you like to draw a lot of zombies, then you could type in crooked zombie and see what comes up. That's a great way to get you a bunch of ideas. Second question is, help, my pens ran out of ink. What do I do if my pens run out of ink? Well, I get that these micron pens are super expensive, or a lot of the pens that people are using for this are super expensive. But any ballpoint pen would work. So if your pens run out of ink and you don't have the money to go buy a bunch of fancy pens for it, just just lift up the couch cushion, see if there's a pen hiding under there somewhere. Any pen will do. Another question that I see a whole lot of people asking is, am I allowed to do pencil sketches before I use ink? And the answer to this question, I would say go look at Jake Parker's website. Go look at his YouTube channel. He's the guy that started the Inktober challenge. And if you watch every single one of his Inktober videos for the last however many years he's been doing it, he does use pencil sketches before he puts ink on his illustrations. And I think pencil sketches are, if you've ever heard of the 7 habits for highly effective people, habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. Pencil sketches are the perfect way to do that. You plan your picture out so you know what it's going to look like. That way, when you put your ink down, you know you're putting it in the right spot. Another question that a lot of people ask is, am I allowed to use markers or other kinds of ink instead of pens? Now, you saw me yesterday using these Prismacolor Premier brush tip markers. I also have a bunch of Copic markers that I might use for some of these. The answer to this question is, of course, yes, any kind of ink. Ink comes in lots of different forms. You can get little bottles of ink and use dip pens. You could get pens, you could get markers. These are alcohol-based markers, but you could use any kind of markers. You could use these gel pens with the gel ink. There's nothing wrong with using different kinds of ink. It doesn't have to be these micron pens that I'm using. I mean, if you go look at Jake Parker's website, if you go to the Inktober.com website, you'll see he's got his own list of supplies that he uses, but he also specifically says use any kind of ink you want. Now here's a question that it's tempting to give up. A lot of people say, I got too busy, I missed one day, what do I do? So, I mean, if I did the whole first week and then I skipped today and I just didn't have enough time today, which I do, but just pretending here, if I didn't have enough time to do Crooked today, what would I do? What would my response be? And here I think, going back to those 7 habits of highly effective people, habit number 1, be proactive, means you make the right choice, not a reactive choice. A lot of people, if you miss one day, they'd blow up and they say, oh, well, I just completely ruined everything. I can't finish the challenge because I missed one day, so why even bother? And then they would just stop right there. I think a better response, a more proactive response, would be to say, well, if I miss one day, I can just pick up the next day. So if I accidentally miss today and then I just pick up again tomorrow with Screech and then finish the rest out, that's great. Another way to do it would be to just keep going in order, and even if it's the 9th day of October, go back to the one I missed and do Crooked, and then see if I can catch up by the end of the month. So there's lots of ways to handle it, but the other thing to keep in mind is that some people don't make it their goal to finish the whole thing. Some people's goal is, I want to finish 1 week, or I want to finish 2 weeks and get through 14. Or some people say, I want to do the first week and the last week. Whatever your goal is, whatever works for you, not everybody has the time to do all of this. You know, some of us have jobs. Some of us are traveling out of town. My goal is to finish the whole thing. I might do some of them early because I'm going to be going out of town this week. So I might make some of these early and then have the time when I'm out of town just not worry about it. Or I might try to get them done while I'm out of town. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to handle that yet. But I do plan to do all 31 of these. Now, if I miss some because I'm going out of town, then I'm not going to get all frustrated about it and completely quit the challenge. I might just pick up where I left off. But the point is, it's not like a rule here, and it's not like a contest where you have to get it done one a day. It's kind of up for interpretation on you do it your way. Which leads me to my next question that a lot of people ask, which is, what about this Inktober controversy? The controversy is about people wanting to do things a different way, and the answer is do it your way. The controversy stems from, there's a lot of digital artists who've been asking Jake Parker, can I do digital art? Does digital art count as Inktober? And his response, I'll paraphrase, but you can find it at his website, at his blog. His response basically said, you do whatever you want to do. Because it's not like anybody's judging this challenge. But he said, you do whatever you want to do. But there is a reason that he does Inktober instead of like Digitober for digital art, or Oiltober for oil paints. You know, I mean, if you wanted to do an oil painting a day, make an oil painting a day. Just don't call it Inktober because it's not ink. If you want to do Digitober and make a digital artwork every day, call it Digitober instead of ink. I mean, what? Anyway, his response was that you can do whatever you want to do, but there's something special about ink because it's a permanent medium that immediately, whatever mark you make stays where it is and you can't change it. And he mentioned using Control-Z or undo when you're using digital art, and how with ink, you don't have that option. And so there's a benefit, and he mentioned there's a benefit to using a permanent medium. A lot of people took that to mean that that digital art isn't real art, but he never said that. As a matter of fact, he even told those people you can do whatever you want. And that's where the controversy came in, is that a bunch of people felt like he was attacking digital artists and saying they weren't real artists, but he really never said that. And I think the whole controversy is a load of horse hockey. It's just a mess. I don't know why people are still talking about it. It's really ridiculous. So those are the questions I wanted to go over. If you have other questions about Inktober, leave them in the comments below. And I wanted to go ahead and show you a little brief introduction to what I've done. Because I know I'm going to be out of town for a while, I've gone ahead and sketched ahead for Screech. I'm going to be doing, I don't know if the camera can even see this, but For Screech, I'm going to be doing an outline of a motorcycle with some smoke billowing up from the tire. For Gigantic, I'm going to be doing the Death Star. For the word run, I'm going to be doing a shoe that is running. For Shattered, I'm going to do a smartphone with a shattered screen. And I've got a couple of other ideas too. I also had in this other sketchbook, a second sketchbook, where I just drew out a whole bunch of ideas. I didn't finish ideas for all of the prompts, but just got some ideas in advance, just so that I have some plans, just to make this a little quicker and easier for me.